Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hi, hello, we're live. Oh my God, hi, it's so good to see you.
And you guys, my goodness, it's been forever.
It's been a
Has
long
been.
time. For everyone listening, we're here with our pal Brigitte, who we met at Tony Robbins summer camp because everyone we have on here is from Tony Robbins summer camp, obviously. And Brigitte and I were on the same team, I think in our youth leader year, which was when Josh and I became very, very close. So that must have been like a decade ago now at
At
this
least,
point.
yeah, I would think so, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Long
yeah,
time.
exactly. It's so good to see you. How have you been?
Good.
Well,
That's the word for it. Life has been life, as life does for everyone. So
yeah.
doesn't really
Life is-
matter what kind of age you are. Life is just doing life.
Life is truly lifing all the
Yeah,
time.
Absolutely. So I think I've moved, I don't know, a couple of countries and continents since we last met, probably.
Yeah, because I was thinking I was in Indonesia in 2020 and I was going to see you, but I got so sick that day, I remember. Have you hopped around since then or?
Yeah, I'm still in Indonesia, but it's got 15,000 islands. I'm on the next island. So not in Bali, I'm in Java at the moment. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you. Before we get into everything, let's spin a wheel. We'll chat through like a question we do around the wheel of life.
Really?
And contribution. So how do you choose what kind of causes or organizations to support? What do you guys
Gosh.
think?
Yes. Wow. For me, it's very intuitive and very much what pulls my heart. And my heart is my gut. Not so much my brain, but it really is there are things that just bring me to tears.
And you just lean into like, supporting those kinds of things that like really pull at your heart.
Yes, and then it's not necessarily only financial, but it is very often things that I've contributed myself to. So like the GYLS and other things that I do. I do a leadership course right now for people in Myanmar, which is a bit of a mess. That's an understatement. So it's where I go. Can I contribute? Can I really contribute there? Can I contribute myself? Do I have resources to have connection? Very often it's about connections that I do have. And and what pulls my heart. And then it's not often you can't do everything. It's nice. Yeah, that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
those are like 3 criteria. What is it for you guys?
What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think for me, a big theme for me in recent years has not been contribution. And Sasha and I have spoken about this quite a bit, how it's just not really factored into my life a lot. But the more I think about it, it really is things that just call to my heart. Just like you said, Brigitte, in terms of I've done a lot of work for and donations and just anything that I can do to help cancer research in the UK, because my family as a lot of families have been, so deeply impacted by cancer. And so it's a charity very close to my heart. I've also, in terms of if I think about what charity work I've done over the last few years, I've run a couple of marathons and raised money for a couple of charities there. And so those were charities that I felt had a real genuine impact on the world. So it's not just something that is close to my heart necessarily, but it's just I see the impact that they're having. And as long as they are having an impact, I'm happy to do work with them. And now I'm stepping into a new era of contribution, where this year, for me, the big theme is about contribution. And it's all about, again, what's close to my heart. And for me, it's about addiction. So how can I give back in a way that I'm helping addicts? How can I give back in a way that I'm helping people who suffer from what I have previously suffered from. And that's very, very important to me. And I've started to realize that this is, I think, my life's calling, actually. So it's an interesting question to discuss at this stage of the year, actually.
Yeah, completely. It's interesting that you bring that up too, because I was thinking the same thing where I feel like I pick causes where I personally was impacted by them in the past, like continuing to volunteer at guilds. I haven't gone in the last couple of years, but that was like a huge piece of contribution, is going back and giving with your time and energy and love. And that program gave so much to me and to us. So going back and being able to support and contribute and have a full circle moment also feels really special. And this year I've chosen, this is like the first year I'm like really prioritizing it monetarily, where last year I traveled complete digital nomad just around the world. Like I went through a breakup and decided to take eat, pray, love approach to it all.
Yeah.
And I realized that I've always been an environmentalist. Like I went to school and studied for business with a focus on sustainable fashion. And I was realizing, I was like, oh my goodness, all of this travel is really emitting a lot. I did a bunch of math around how much carbon I emitted through my flights last year. And I've decided to offset all of my flights. So that's my goal this year, is planting 1,000 trees. So that's what I'm going towards this year. I already partnered up with I'm actually here in San Diego too, crazy enough. I'm here for a couple of months, but I partnered up with an organization here in San Diego. So I'll be supporting them. It's funny enough, they needed like 1,000, the amount I needed to donate was the exact amount they needed for the rest of the year. So I was like, okay, let's do it. But it's more just like, how can I what's impacted me that I can give back in that way? So it's like a personal connection as well, because I feel like if you're giving to some random cause just because, it's not quite as, sure it's good, but maybe it's not as quite as fulfilling as something that's impacted like you in the past.
I agree. And it's interesting when you said about marathons. My first marathon, which is way back when, was for Childline. And it was, I remember running, I got, here you hit the wall, right? And I got, no, we're not hitting any walls. This is for these children. So you just keep going. And certainly for me, I don't know about you, that it was very much going, I could stop, but no, this is for a higher purpose and a bigger cause than just me.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you've raised all that money, this charity, and like, I can't stop now. I can't let the charity down. I can't let the money that I've raised down, you know?
Yeah,
What I
gives you a
did,
great purpose.
one of the things I remember doing all of a sudden, when other people asked me to sponsor them, I'd say, okay, I'll sponsor you for the last 5 miles.
Yeah, that's a great thing, because honestly, those last 5 miles are the hardest. The first 20 are the warm up for the last 6.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know Josh has run, Josh, you've run like 1 or 2.
I've done 2 marathons.
Two,
now, yeah.
2. Okay. I did the 1 and the only after that. I was like, I hate running. I'm never going to do that again. Like life goal done, but I don't feel the need to do that again.
No, you don't. If you don't like it. Yeah, I liked it at the time.
Yeah.
Still like it, but my body doesn't really join in with me.
Yeah, my body did not like that marathon. I think it took me a month. I couldn't walk for a month after. It was crazy.
Oh, God.
But
I remember before my first marathon, I actually ran it with Steph Shields the first time.
Yeah.
And she'd already run, I think, 1 or 2 before that. And she told me a couple of days before, she was like, Josh, just so you know, the impact that this has on your body is the equivalent of being in a car accident. I was like, that's great. That's exactly what I want to hear before a marathon. But and then I did the marathon, and you hit the wall. Yeah. And it's so tough. And I said to myself afterwards, I was like, there is no way I'm doing another marathon. And then a year later, about 3 weeks before the London Marathon, my friend reached out and was like, I can get you a free spot if you just raise X amount for charity week. I was like, sign me up. And then I said after the second one, I was like, never again. And I think I'm sticking to that this time.
You're sticking to that. It's interesting when you get older, as I'm older, how you can look back and go, I actually did that. That's really pretty cool.
It's like 1% of people, I think, run marathons. It's like a very low percentage of people.
Is it? Yeah. It's getting more popular since I did it when I did it in my 40s. I'm now almost 70. But it's been more popular since I started doing that in my 40s. So it's I think it's good that more people get on that bandwagon to at least get fit and then use that as a contribution motive.
Yeah, absolutely. This like health wave has been tremendous. And then also just I feel like the sheer challenge of it, someone putting themselves through a challenge like that for no other, sometimes for obviously for charity, but sometimes to just put yourself through something challenging to promote your growth, I feel is really important. Or at least that's part of the reason I wanted to do it, is like I want to put myself through a challenge that's going to force me to grow. But yeah, no, I'm not going to run again unless I'm running away from zombies or towards something fabulous. I'm not going to run.
Yeah, but now you can do it for 26 miles.
I can, and yeah, should not again.
It's
But it's all good.
2026, so that could be 26 miles, 2026. Who knows? Ooh.
Oh yeah. I know
Mm.
Josh is considering doing, or you decided on doing a half this year.
Yeah, I set a goal of doing a half this year because I figured the 2 marathons I've done, I was absolutely fine for the first half. I flew for the first half. I was on course for
Yeah.
an amazing time, and then it's the second half that's really tough to get through that. So I figured I can do a half. I'm a big runner. I'm in the best shape of my life at the moment.
Nice.
But I think a marathon is just a bit of a stretch. It's
It
bit
is
too far.
indeed, as you say, it's pretty tough on the body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time. So as we get into like kind of we call it like the meat of the episode. So we premised like the whole podcast around the wheel of life. So like to every areas we find, sure, maybe some would say not as equally as important, but we see it as a wheel in life. Sometimes life is lifing. Like some areas are going well and then some areas are not going well, and we chat through it and mastermind through it. So right now in this stage of your life, what do you feel like is going well? What do you feel like needs some more like love and attention and TLC? Like what's going on?
All right. Good. That's the meat. Good. Last year was a pretty tough year. It was a lot of going, oh, there's a kind of a wheel, but this wheel, if I put that on my bicycle, it's more like a tricycle with side those stabilizers. It was going, and they were falling off, and I was falling off the bicycle or the tricycle thing. So there were quite a few areas that were just going, oh, cool. This is, I don't know what season it is. It was winter in many. The season there was the one that fell off the wagon was the health part. And because I'm pretty much of a health nut, it was kind of going, okay. So 8 years ago, I had a stroke. And then last year, I couldn't really see. I had an eye operation and it had to be redone. When was it? 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Because then I had 15% vision in one eye. And I go, this is cool, but I just have to touch everything to see where I am. That was tough. And then I had another one where it was really looking at my identity, because I lost one of my citizenships almost. And I really had to fight and sit in the Dutch embassy every week to get, well, why do you think you should be Dutch? No, I am. I was born in Holland. I've been Dutch for the last 67 years. That there were a couple of things that really called me on my stuff. So it's probably the most overarching area is emotional. That I go, okay, there's this and there's that and there's that and there's that. And I haven't looked there yet. So let's behind what else is not going well. So it was really calling me on all my skills. And I go, what's happening here? And I said, okay, this is cool. This is actually testing me on what I know. When we say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. But it also, if you have these skills, you don't use them in the times when it's really tough, then you're not using them. So it was a phenomenal gift, the whole year. So with health, with identity, family, things were, spiritual was good, financial was good, but there was also something there that I had to fight for in the financial area. So there were like 3 areas that I got, really? Because they say, God will give you what you're ready for. And I go, really, God? Are you joking here? So it was very humbling. It was very humbling in a way that I go, when they say you brought to your knees if you have something else going, oh, you're not at the bottom yet. So it was very much like that, and it gave me so many gifts, and it was real, not a wake up call, but it was a real, it's now, it's on now. There's no more waiting, there's nothing. This is how it is. And you step in or you step up or you just step out. So it was quite something. So it's not one specific, but it was more the emotional and the beliefs and that part that was really rattling.
Yeah, that's really. I think Sasha and I speak quite a lot about the parts of the wheel, and obviously every part of the wheel of life is interlinked in a way. But there are certain parts that really have an overriding impact on every other part. So if these areas are not going well, then every other area feels like it's suffering or does actually suffer. And I think a big one is physical health. It has a real impact. I've seen this the last couple of weeks. I've had a couple of spells of being really sick. And it just wipes you out, you know, in terms of, I'm not being sick, and what you've gone through in the last year is a completely different story, but it just impacts every other area because your health is so important, and it cripples you. You know, you can't do what you want to do or what you're used to doing on a day by day basis. I'm so glad that you've got through it in this instance, and
there'll be more, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. But it's, I guess, as you say, it's how you deal with it, isn't it? And in that moment, it's so hard to actually use the skills that you have. And I'm a big, what I say all the time is I have all the skills, and I tell people how to use them, and I tell people that they should use them, but I never use them myself when the tough times come. But it's really important to do so if you can dig yourself out of that hole, that mental hole.
It's interesting because I feel like physical health is always the area that if it's not going well, every other area feels like it's not going well because you don't have the energy or the vitality to manage everything in a way or create everything in a way that feels good. But the other piece I found really interesting there was the way that it's also so attached to identity. What you were describing is if you consider yourself like a health nut, and then your physical health is suffering or not in the best spot, it also might feel a little bit worse too, because it feels like it's almost attacking your identity and like who you are, and that can be really challenging as well. And I know that's something I'm going through right now too, is I'm recovering from a surgery right now, so I can't like work out and move. I'm like always grew up being an athlete, so not being able to move has really impacted like my health. And I'm like, it's when you identify as something and it's taken away or it's challenged, it almost impacts you a lot more, because it's like, but this is not who I am. I'm not acting in alignment, or I'm not feeling in alignment with who I feel like I actually am. So it becomes like very challenging in that way. But it sounds like you're like on the other side or going on the other side of it, which is great.
For now, for this, yes, absolutely. And there's always another level. So it's one of those things that I for myself had started to become more kind to myself, to go, well, yes, this may be my identity, that and because you feel a bit lost going, this is who I am. And then giving yourself permission to do other things. That's one of the things that I found. Have you found that as well? That you go, this is where I'm going. This is where I was thinking that I was going. But now the universe is asking me to do something else. How do you find that when that comes your way?
It's so funny that you're bringing it up, because it's something I was actually chatting with Josh earlier today. Funny enough, was that the being kinder to yourself is something that I'm feeling very challenged with right now also. Just because, again, I think also when you're not moving your body, you can get, or when you're not feeling your healthiest, you can get more in your head about everything. And the deconstructive self-criticism, or at least the cycle that I can get into, I find can be very destructive. Obviously, like deconstructive, and it's not the healthiest, but how can you be like gentler? And that's something I'm sitting with right now too, is like, how can I be like gentler and kinder with myself in these moments? And it was also a matter of also, you just said earlier, if you're not using the tools we have in the hard moments, then you're not using the tools, period, because you need them in the hard moments. I don't know, today I was in kind of a spiral of it all, and actually deciding to stop and step away and take a break and go outside, get a walk, go watch the sunset, in San Diego, like on the beautiful beach, go outside, see the sun, just enjoy the weather for a second, just go step away, take a break and remove yourself from the situation, I found was really helpful for me. But it's difficult when you're stuck in the spiral and when you're stuck in that state. Like when you're in it, catching it and pulling yourself out of it, I find is really, really tough.
I think we all have. And one of the things that I've found, because I don't know if you all work with people, and then it's easy to coach other people. And sometimes two things. One thing, gaslighting, right? And it's very often that we say, okay, somebody is gaslighting me. And I find that we are the biggest gaslighters of ourselves, right? Often, and stepping away from that and then going, how about being kind to myself and actually treating myself as if I'm my best friend instead of being horrible to myself, and just having to do more and be better and so and of course, coming from personal development, there is this always do more, be more, higher level. And is there maybe a time where we can say, well, we're just going to do nothing and we're just going to have an empty agenda and we're just not going to fill that time? And one of the things I found also from my marathon and Ironman times, my coach would say, you have to rest one day a week. And I go, no, but that's a waste of time. And he goes, no, that's the time when you build most. And that's the time that you grow most. And that's one of the things also that I found for myself, that when I say, okay, I take one day off totally, and then part of me goes, yeah, but we've done half a day. No, we're not done a whole day. And it's almost counterintuitive to go, yeah, just no. And that's almost a hard thing, certainly for people who are high achievers, which you guys are. And I'm sure that all your audience are as well. You know, we do more, we hustle more, we do more, we run more, we do this and that and the other more. Whereas that, instead of going faster, how about going slow? And that's not been easy for me, for sure.
Yeah, that whole time I was over at Sasha's reaction, because this has been a major theme of conversations.
Yeah, like you're it's crazy. This is just everything you've just been saying for the last however many minutes is exactly what I've been going through, and it's something we've been masterminding, where it's okay, I need to slow down, and what that looks like. And so building that in has been feeling really good. But I'm on like week 1 of this kind of schedule, and it felt really good this week in general to just build in that space and time to be like, okay, like this is my like playtime or my downtime or however I want to use it. If I want to go out and see friends, or if I want to veg out on the couch and watch something or go for a walk or whatever, like I have my container to do that. And taking proper time and slowing down has been so necessary, honestly, and difficult. Yeah, because there's a lot of guilt that comes for me too, where it's, oh man, but exactly what you said is, oh, if I'm resting, it's a waste of time. Where it's, no, actually, this is when you recharge. This is when you have the time to have space to just be. So you're literally just hitting all of the things I need to hear right now personally. Yeah,
those are things I tell myself. It's somebody, I don't know when, but somebody said resting is actually a verb. It's not a noun. It's a verb. It's a doing thing. Even though we're human beings, but we're doing resting. And what you said already, recharging, recuperating, they're all verbs. They're all doing things. Not that you have to make it a doing thing, but maybe to feel less guilty. They go, I'm resting here. This is my recuperating, my creative time. And yeah, that may be a way to for sure, that's what helps me. Here I am resting. I have 5 minutes to rest. No, that's not enough.
Yeah, at least you need an afternoon or a day.
Yeah, you need proper time. I think running coaches, and if you go and run or work out in any way, shape, or form, proper trainers will say that the rest is arguably just as important
Yes.
as the training.
Yes.
And it's exactly the same principle for us as it is for our body.
For sure.
I think it's really interesting what you said about how we're the biggest gaslighters of ourselves, because that's all negative self-talk is at its core, right? The truth is 99% of what we're talking to ourselves in terms of the negative self-talk is not true. And so we are actually genuinely just gaslighting ourselves. So it's a really interesting way of putting it. I've not thought of it that way before.
It's interesting, right? Because I very often turn it round, and I can't remember where I even got it from, but when I think certain things, I would go, would I actually say that to a best friend? No, never. Or, yeah, so very often I say to clients, just think of yourself as your best friend. And if anything that you say and do to yourself is not kind, something that you go, I would not say or do that to my best friend, just don't do it. And that
Yeah.
was a big, big, big flag for me to go, oh, no, I would not ever say that or think that or even say, ever do that to anybody else. Not even a worst friend, an enemy. Fascinating.
So true. So true. It's like hitting so hard to home right now. It's wild. Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it is important to block out like a day or a couple of days, because I've not been one of those people who's being into hustle culture and grinding out work, and I've lived quite a relaxed life the last 10 years or so. And I'm now stepping into a phase of my life where I am moving towards that hard grind because I'm trying to build something.
Yeah.
And I'm only 2 weeks in. It's very early days, but I'm already finding this negative self-talk where I'm going to myself, you're not doing enough. It's exactly the conversation Sasha and I have about her almost at least once a week.
Yeah.
Usually more than that. And I'm finding it myself. I'm putting in the work and I'm working all day, every day. And then it gets to 10 p.m. and I'm like, maybe I could just relax for a bit, read for a bit, or watch a YouTube video or a movie or something for an hour. And then the moment I start doing it, I'm like, no, I need to be doing this. And I have all these ideas. My brain's not slowing down and I feel that I'm not doing the work. And that's because I think an hour at the end of the day after you've been hustling all day is not enough. I think it's important to take that hour before bed and let your mind calm down.
Yes.
But I think I need to look at, for example, on a weekend, on a Sunday, just to take that day to do nothing and just to recharge. I think it's really important.
And it's when you haven't done that, it's really difficult. I remember when somebody visited me, that was from the Tony Robbins environment, and he goes, "You're actually never sitting down with your family." And I go, because they're watching TV, and I go, "But that's a waste of time watching TV." But you're actually sitting with your family. That's not a waste of time. I go, no, that's true. So I started to sit with them for 5 minutes, watching The Simpsons. Then I go, but I can do other things. So I jump up and do stuff. And that's 10 minutes. That was terrible. But I had to change it into, I'm actually spending time with my family instead of I'm watching The Simpsons, which is a waste of time, which is debatable, of course. But turning that round and making it a different meaning, which I had to do, to go, so what else could it mean? Which is, for me, always a great question. Because we can so easily look into that and go, here I am, I'm resting, or here I am, I'm just looking after this beautiful body to be even more productive, creative, and self-caring, and sleep. In the past, Tony Robbins said sleep is for sissies, I think. So, that was a while ago. And we know now that that's so much needed. And if we don't, all our organs, they recharge at certain hours in the night. And if we don't sleep at those times, those organs get quite a whack and may get some negative feedback and results. So those are other sides of the coins as well, that if we don't, then there may be other kind of consequences, which I've had. I'm sure you've had times. You go, "Whew, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do," or maybe family members or other people that you've heard of that you go, maybe that's a good wake up call to go, that's not the way to do things. I used to always go, if I'm really tired and I've done a lot, then I just need to go to the beach and I need to go and swim and I need to do this and that and the other, and then I had a stroke. Okay, so that was, that worked for a while, but then it didn't work anymore. This was not the best thing. Yeah, and then looking at the way you do things, and that was smart and that was not smart. So that's
Yeah. You talk about looking at other people. My partner last week, she was trans. She said to me, so it was a really early flight. I think it was like 4 a.m. She had to catch a flight. And she said, you know what, I'm not going to sleep. I'm just going to pull an all-nighter. And I kept saying to her all week, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should definitely get some sleep. You're going to feel it and you're going to arrive, where you're going. And you're going to be exhausted and you're not going to be well. And she didn't listen to me. And she called the flight. I think she probably got maybe 30 minutes of sleep on the plane. And she arrived, and the whole day she was saying how sick she was and how she's not feeling good mentally, and she had these stomach issues and she was feeling sick. And I said to her, like, I'm validating how you're feeling, and I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. However, please just remind yourself this is just because of sleep deprivation. Like, no, I don't think it is. I feel so ill. And I'm like, trust me, get a really good night's sleep tonight. Go to bed super early. Get 9 hours of sleep, and you were going to be fine tomorrow. And she did, and she was absolutely fine, cured of all diseases the next day. Sleep and rest is so important, and I think we're reminded of that, as you say. You look at people in your life who are not resting and who are not getting enough sleep, and it's kind of like, that's not what you should be doing, and they're showing why.
Yeah. I love that reframe too of what else could this mean? And I think just in every situation, it's asking that question, what else could this mean, is such a great reframe for anything. It can be like how you're approaching rest, or it can be maybe like any sort of situation, or maybe it's some difficult challenge you're going through and it's okay, what else could this mean? Am I being tested from the universe? Do I need to be processing through something or learning something from the situation? But I really love that reframe too, and to ask yourself that is, I think, really powerful. But yeah, the power of sleep is no joke, for real.
So are you finding that right now as you're recuperating?
Right now, yeah. I took 5 days off, it must have been 2 weeks ago, to recover from surgery, and that was glorious. I can't tell you the last time I took a day to do nothing, let alone 5 days to just sit and literally just do nothing, which felt really, really good. And I'm feeling a little bit more of the sleep deprivation just the last couple of nights, because the last couple of nights I've been enjoying like time with family and friends. So I just been staying up later and waking up really early for work, and yeah, just feeling it a little bit. But it's also, it's a weekend. I'll catch up this weekend and it'll be okay, and prioritizing rest and recovery where I can. But yeah, definitely feeling it for sure. It's been an interesting transition, but I wanted to spend 2 weeks to really prioritize rest recovery. And I think I was able to do it really successfully for a week. And then I was just feeling so energized. I was like, I just want to start again. I just want to do things, but also still including in that rest time every day has been like very helpful. But Josh always takes at least one day completely off, which I'm working on, but sometimes it's a little difficult.
Yeah, I think that's such an alien concept to you when I tell you that for me, I didn't always do this, but Sundays are for doing nothing. I go to my mum's, I have lunch with her, I do absolutely nothing that day. There's no work involved, no thinking involved. And I make sure that I'm also, because going to see my mum is still technically doing something, I have to have a little bit of social power to do that. So I always make sure that I'm out of there in enough time so that I can have an evening to do absolutely nothing. And I think I remember the first time I told Sasha about that, it looked like she was just I was speaking a different language. It's such an alien concept to her, but I think it's something you're working on.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I was recently in China and I was meeting my nephew. And so we were going to see his grandmother, so my aunt, who's 94. And then, so he picked us up and he brought us back to the hotel. And then he said, and we said, what you going to do for the rest of the day? And he said, I'm going to take my brain on a holiday because it needs to be just do nothing. And I go, that's really cool. That's really good. The brain is not doing anything. He's just going to be by himself doing nothing, just turn his brain off. And he's very brainy and he works a lot, as they do in China. So that was such a cool concept. He's probably a couple of years older than you are, same age as my son, so that he's 34, I think, something like that. And it was such a cool thing to say, instead of, no, I'm playing golf, I'm doing that. No, I'm going to turn my brain off and be quiet.
Yeah, take my brain on a holiday. It's a good one.
This was such a cool thing. I'd never heard that, but I thought it was a real nice concept.
Yeah. I feel really this is hitting hard. It's hitting home so hard for me right now, obviously, because we've been like chatting about it, just everything that, you know, and I feel like these conversations always come this way where it's like there's something very magic about getting together and being able to collaborate, where it's like someone will say something and it'll really be resonating with somebody else. And yeah, it's definitely resonating with me for sure to take proper time. Because it's like, even I was thinking about last weekend and I remember having a really great weekend last weekend. And that included working on things. Like that still included working on my kind of like side projects, like the podcasts and stuff like that. But I was enjoying doing it, and it felt good to do it after and just be like, afterwards be like, I feel accomplished. And I like that feeling. I like the feeling of feeling good about something I produced and something I created for fun. And then just being able to go and enjoy the whole day, enjoy the outside, come home, like hang out with my mom, watch TV, watch a Marvel movie. I was like, this is the best day ever. This is a perfect Saturday. Even though work was incorporated into that, I want to switch up to how my language around work, because I obviously have a 9 to 5, but then I have the podcast as well. And you know, I hate calling the podcast work because I just enjoy it so much that I enjoy it. Some parts of it feel like work, but then other parts just feel like real, like sitting down and having conversations like this doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It just feels like fun creation. And I want to reframe how I talk about it and be like, instead of, oh, I'm working on the podcast, being like, I'm taking inspired action with the podcast, or I'm creating the podcast or something like that. Because it doesn't always feel like work. Like sometimes I just enjoy creating something, and it's just where my creative outlet has been. But yeah, it's interesting. So like even a day off, like working on it just felt, or like taking inspired action on it, still is doing something. It's just, man.
Don't they say when you love what you're doing, you never have to work a whole day in your life? Yeah.
It's
and
true.
So I look at, for instance, Richard Branson. This man is just having fun in his life, right? You smile, Josh. And of course he's working, but he's having such fun doing it. And again, I don't know him personally, whether that's actually true, but what I see on the outside, and there's quite a lot of it publicly, that you got, he's actually having a real fun, and also he's crashing balloons and all kinds of stuff, and then he's very bad guys, the cancer. I'm worse than that. That there is a lot of joy, and I think you can incorporate both, because I still work, and yes, I don't know whether I call it work, but I just enjoy very much what I do, and it's a passion, and it's not, for me, it's not a, here I have to go somewhere and then I have to do something and then I go, yay, I'm free. So it sounds like what you're saying, Sasha, is also most of the things that you do, specifically the things that you do for yourself, if you created yourself, that is your joy and your passion, and something you really want to do, instead of going, oh, I've been talking to Josh and Brigitte today. That's terrible. Maybe you say that.
No, not even a little. I was looking forward to this so much. I'm just about to say it's almost 1 a.m. here, because I was just so excited. I was like, I was going to stay up and not go to sleep early, and just, it's nice to like also binge watch a little something too. I was like, ooh, I got time before my call. It's going to get me there, but I just like love having these conversations so much. It brings me so much joy. And honestly, every time Josh and I get on one of these calls, it feels kind of like it's like a mix of feeling like therapy and masterminding and also just like chatting with your best friend for an hour every week, especially when we live so far apart. So it doesn't really feel like work when we're sitting here and having these kind of conversations. And that's something I was also meditating and reflecting on today is because I have this extra thing, like no one is forcing me to do these podcasts. No one is forcing me to, you know, have these extra projects outside of my 9-to-5 job. I'm not like I'm making revenue from it, but not enough to support like a whole life or lifestyle at this point. In the future, I'd hope so. But it's also, if no one's forcing me to do this, it should just be fun. So like, how can I have as much fun as possible in creating this? And that comes through too with the content, and it comes through with the creation. If you're having fun and putting energy and love and joy into it, like that, your input's your output. So it's like, how can I be having more fun? How could it be more of a flow state, less of a force state? And it's things I'm sitting on right now and being like, okay, how can I incorporate and how can I just make sure it just feels fun when I'm doing it?
And with that in mind, what, you know, I think a good question to ask yourself is with your podcast, for example, when you first started it, what did you have in mind? Why did you start it? What was the reason behind it when you first started?
The first one I have, and Brigitte, just for context, I have my own podcast a year and a half maybe before Josh and I started ours. And I started that one. It's guided meditations. I started that one because I was looking for visualizations and a couple, but I couldn't find like a catalog of visualizations. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do it myself. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Got certified to be a meditation teacher and just picked up a mic and started doing it. And that's kind of, I just enjoyed working on something. I thought it was fun. I always had dreams and goals of being self-employed, and this felt like it was really aligned with my strengths and it just felt really fun. And it was one of those things where I just couldn't not do it. And so it just started.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you're
I
still
don't know when it switched though. I'm still doing it. It's been in May, it'll be 3 years.
Well, that's phenomenal. You have to send me the link. I want to hear it.
I absolutely will.
Yeah, please. Wow. I think those things are the signs. Sorry to interrupt. Those are signs when I'm doing it for 3 years and I love it. Okay, that's a sign.
Exactly. It's 3 years basically for free. And like, I just enjoy sitting down and have these conversations. And it's been really cool to listen back and just learning about myself through the process and learning about what it's like to grow something. It has been really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to remind yourself of that, about where you started and why you started, and how much fun you've been having with it over those years. Because, you know, that if you frame it that way, it's a reminder that it didn't start as work, and you're seeing it that way now because you're in a phase where you're trying to get it signed and trying to actually move it up and move it forward. So it may feel like work at times, but I think it's really important to remind yourself why you actually started it, what your original why was.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great one. It feels really exciting too, like watching Josh too. He like recently just started building his own like world around stuff like 2 weeks ago, and just that has been really cool too. But it's also like you're at the beginning right now. So how is it feeling right now for you, like to just be starting this?
It's interesting because for me, it's a weird one because I can ask myself the same question already about why am I doing this? Is it because I want to monetize it, or is it just because I want to help people? So again, for context, Brigitte, I'm starting up a addiction recovery coaching business.
Oh, fantastic.
Which over the years I've suffered pretty severely from addiction, so it's very, very close to my heart.
Yes.
And I've in the last few months been thinking that this is my calling. This is something that I'm meant to be doing with my life. This is what I'm being drawn towards. And all of my life experiences over the last 12 plus years have been building up to this so I can help people. So my question is, the reason I started this really was so I can help people. And obviously I want to monetize it at some point. But right now, when I'm putting content out on social media and I'm trying to build a community around this, and I'm not seeing, it's only been 2 weeks, I'm not seeing much growth, but Yet, exactly. It's very early days, but I'm like, okay, so it's going to take a while before I can monetize this. Am I going to allow myself to feel frustrated, or am I going to allow myself to continue to doing what I'm doing in the hope that I'm going to actually serve people? Forget about monetization. I'm going to actually help people and potentially save people. And you know what's really interesting? I had that thought, that exact thought, and then that night on TikTok of all places, someone messaged me and was talking about their problems gambling. They were in I think 10, 11,000 pounds worth of debt.
Right.
And I just spent a couple of hours chatting to them. And at the end of the conversation, they said, I think you've saved me from placing a bet tonight. And that's why it made me feel so nice that I'd actually helped someone, and the things that I'd been discussing with them had actually helped them.
That's right.
And that was just a nice reminder that I'm doing this to help people at its core, you know, and
Yeah, add
if money
value.
comes from it eventually, exactly. If money comes from it eventually, then amazing. But right now, this is my contribution.
That's really
So it feels good.
yes, and you feel it in your heart, and that's your your path. So very often we wonder why we're going through stuff. And this is why. This is your why. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
very
exactly.
congruent.
Yeah.
It's so congruent. We wouldn't think, oh, does he really mean this? No, this is how it is. It may lead you to
Yeah.
another path, but this is for sure. This is it. Beautiful. I'm getting
Exactly.
goosebumps here in the tropics. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually said something to Sasha last night about put the energy out there and trust in divine timing. And I think I've spent so much of my 20s feeling lost, actually, in many ways. I think addiction really kind of veered my path off in a million different directions.
Right.
And I'm now 4 years clean, so it's been a while that I've had 4 years to really build my life towards the end of my 20s, but I've still been stuck in a career that I've not been happy in. Sasha has seen this job after job. I've just been miserable and been stuck in an industry that I hate. And so I've been trying to find the way out. I've been trying to constantly think about business ideas and something that can give me the free. And I had this idea maybe about 6 months ago about addiction recovery coaching, because I think I'm a good listener at giving advice, and I've got such a strong framework around what I've built over the last 4+ years that I feel I can really help people with it. And so for me at this point, I don't know where this is going to take me. It could be a different path to recovery coaching, who knows? But right now, what I'm trying to do is just put the energy out there, and then trust in divine timing. Trust that the universe is going to put things in my place, opportunities, and it has been. Literally, the first 2 weeks, I've had so many insane opportunities. I've just crazy networking opportunities that I've had put in front of me already. And so I think I just need to just put that energy out there and trust in it, and just trust that God, the universe, is going to take me where I need to go.
It's beautiful because it sounds like you've taken away the obstacles and you're clearing the path, and then it's just a matter of, not just a matter, but it's a matter of, indeed, as you say, trusting. And I have a few contacts that may help you as well. For both of you, I'm always a great networker for myself and others. So that's always an opportunity and always on offer for you and anybody else that I know and anybody else that you do know from Gills or anywhere else. If you feel it's worthwhile, and if it's something you're behind, my friends are your friends are my friends. So if you feel that, just reach out. And it's been great that you have been reaching out, because I'm such an advocate for all of you that I go, oh, I've done Gills since 1999. That's a while. And
Wow.
so yeah, so I'm not doing it at the moment, but I'm doing other things at the moment. But there's other generations of people that do Gills at the moment. So I do other things, as I said, to Myanmar and other places. So it's incredibly close to my heart, and I have a few people that I still sponsor, as in coach or being in touch regularly. So if ever that's the case, let me know. I'm here. A good network.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a blessing. I love it. I've gotten like goosebumps on this call multiple times. It's been incredible.
Do you have any
Yeah.
more questions? Anything? Because I believe this is an hour, right? It goes
Yeah,
with-
just about.
yeah. But
Just about,
anything?
it's just been so amazing to catch up. Is there? I don't know. Normally we just chat through everything. Josh, you have anything or thoughts, or what do you think?
Gosh, yeah, it's been so good talking with you, and I think every time we get, as Sasha said, every single guest that we've had has been from GYLS so far.
That's a great
And
network.
it really is,
Family.
and that's what I was about to say. It's the network, and it's not about so many of these people like yourself, for example, who we haven't spoken to in a long, long time or seen in a long time. But I think the beauty of the Robbins environment and of GYLS in particular is that we are a family, and family picks up where we left off always, and it just doesn't feel like it's been however long, many 10 plus years, which is a really beautiful thing. But it's also the conversations we have, and there's so many nuggets
Absolutely.
that come out, especially with everyone, to be honest.
I'm
Every
sure.
conversation we have. But
So I've listened to a few of them because it's just you get the flavor, and it's just lovely to hear you and hear other people. How long have you done these particular ones?
Josh and I did our first recording when we did one for my podcast, and then we realized that we just loved recording together. And then also there was like definitely an audience for it. And we started recording, it must have been not this past July, the July before. So it must be a year and a half at this point we've been recording. This episode is going to be 64.
Nice.
Yeah, our recording on your podcast was almost 2 years ago,
Yeah, that's true.
March 24.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Wow.
just had, our friendship has been, because we got really close our youth leader year, which was when I worked really closely with you. You were my team lead that year. We got really close that year, but it's been about a decade at this point, and there have been times where we got really close or not as close, and I visited a couple times. Like we went to Gills, like gone back to Gills a couple of times, and then I forget when we became very close again. It must have been COVID. We got on like 1-2 hour catch up, and after that we just started sending voice messages back to each other, back and forth, and they're basically mini podcast episodes we're sending to each other back and forth about, and we're like coaching each other through. Oh my god, I got the best pep talk today ever from Josh. I was like, wow, 4 minutes of pure gold I'm gonna put on the podcast, but it was so good. And just be able to go back and forth like that. And I feel like I have so many of my closest friends from Gills, even to this day, and just being able to catch up like this and be around people that are, aligned and also are there to lift you up.
Yeah. Wow. And it's just so lovely to hear that 10 years on, and to get that message from you guys. Hey, and I go, this is so cool. This is one of the things that I love, that type of contribution that I've done there. And I go, they say today's youth, tomorrow's leaders. And I go, it's today's leaders. These guys are you guys. That's gold for me, that I go, yeah, this is 10 years ago and here you are. It's absolutely stunning and very emotional for me to see that. Really.
Thank you so much. It really touches my heart too, because I feel like we had a very close connection. That one year we really worked together, and yeah, thank you so much for your contribution then and your contribution now, for guiding us back then and now. It's incredible.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Do you know what, actually, it's funny that you mentioned about close connection, and we speak about Brigitte, and a story that I tell a lot from my past is about a bad relationship that I was in, and it got to a point, I won't go into the details now, I think I've spoken about it a couple of times in the podcast, but it got to a point actually during GYLS in, it must have been 2013, maybe 2000, I think it was 2013, and I sat down, it was during the relationship day, and I had a full-on breakdown over this relationship.
Right.
And you came up to me and said, let's have a chat over lunch. And we sat down over lunch and we spoke through the whole thing. And it completely, I remember it so vividly. It completely changed the way that I thought about the relationship. And it was a very, very toxic, borderline abusive relationship, even for that age, at a sort of mid-teens.
Can be.
Yeah, of course. But we sat down and you gave me this pep talk and just coached me through it. And I tell the story a lot, and you feature as a major part of the story because you completely shifted the way that relationship went, just based on that conversation we had. And I think it's actually shifted the way I look at relationships, full stop. Now, moving forward, you've had a major impact on my life as well.
And it's you that you picked it up. Not everybody does, and you did, and you're passing it forward, and that's, I think, the beauty as well, that we pass things forward, and then other people do as well. It's like the pebbles in the pond that I always tell my people in Myanmar, because it's very tough. There I go. Even if it's one ripple in the pond, it will go further and further. And that's what you guys are doing and what you keep doing. And even those 10 years that you've already been in the world after Djie, all the things that you do and the people that you impact and the things that you put in the world, it's so beautiful to just see that not only it's friendships, but I think what you said earlier about work, that's not work, it's not, but it's life, right? If you feel that is so nourishing all the way from your teens up. And of course, life is still life, as I told you earlier. This last year was kind of, really?
Yeah.
And it will still happen. Just because we're older doesn't mean we know everything. Sometimes we wish, but no, it's not going to happen. So it's just lovely that you have so many friends, peers, and really people that you call family, that you could call at any time, really. And that's gorgeous. And what you created is wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for your guidance. Thank you so much. We love you so much. And for everyone listening, we'll catch you guys next week. But so many blessings. We love you so much.
It's mutual, lovelies. Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you later.
And rest.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.